Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of You Know What. I'm Snack, this is Mac, and we're back.
Alright, we are back. Today, we're going to be going over our defensive theory of slipping like we have been. But we've talked about punches before, let's talk about kicks.
Yep, going over kicks. Obviously you don't want to get kicked, nobody wants to get kicked, and there's a certain way to keep yourself in the fire, but also far enough away to where you can avoid being kicked. And that's what we call a alley pull. Okay?
Now, we're going to start first with head kicks. We'll go down to body and low kicks. One thing to keep in mind when you're trying to avoid a kick is distance control. Okay, so you can't be in that yellow range and expect to pull out on kicks.
Yeah.
If you're at yellow, you're going to be engaging, so that contact is going to hit you. You may want to start thinking about catching a kick or blocking returning kicks. But if we're out at green, right? Yeah, green range, okay? If he doesn't move, I can make contact here. I step, I throw my kick, it's gonna hit. But if he pulls appropriately on this, he can avoid the kick altogether and not risk taking any damage at all, like this, and then we'll break it down. See how that kick just completely missed, but he's right back. Could be an opportunity for him to counter.
Yeah, Zach went over this technique in a previous video. I actually forgot the date. That's pretty normal with me. But going, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, going over it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's the same one. So it's the pull. It's that movement of the back foot,
Yep, that's what
and the rocking of the hips, getting your head back slightly. The same way we did that to pull on a jab or something, we can do that to pull on the kick. Your lead hand, you should put down. Okay?
Yeah, create that
Seems
ramp.
counterintuitive, but you want to create that ramp. Boom, boom, right there.
Can you stand
And
up for a second?
holding your hand back to your face can also help spring you back into
Yeah.
your
Can you go
stance.
back in that position for a second? When he creates that ramp on that pull, I mean, this person really has to get that downward momentum kick to do any contact. If that kick comes up here though, it's gonna skip right off the shoulder. So that's pretty big to know that. That's what friends are for, guys. Friends are there for you for when you forget what you were about to say,
And they just know.
and they just know.
We've been around each other so much,
Yes.
We're such great friends.
So that's one way to avoid
It was Solo's birthday the other day,
It
by the way.
was.
Hope you guys all
It was.
wished
Thank you
him
for
a happy
the-
birthday.
They did.
Oh, great.
I have a lot of love on social media.
Cool.
Thank you. It means the world to me. But back to this. This is the meat. Okay?
Let's keep going down. Let's go to
Yep.
body kicks, okay? So whatever side that comes, whether it's a switch kick with their lead leg or rear kick, okay, if a kick is going to the body and you're controlling that distance, you're at like that green range, you have an opportunity to, again, just avoid the kick altogether. And we've already went over this technique as well, okay? So we'll show it here.
I really threw that at you too.
You really did,
I
you really
just-
stepped in.
I just tried to step in just to, I don't know why I did that.
So, again, we went over this technique again. We're using it now with kicks to avoid the body kick. So I'm hollowing out my middle section as I bring my lead foot to the same line that my back foot is. Remember, we don't want to just step back. I have nothing bringing me back into the fight. I want to keep that forward demeanor and just scoot out of the way, and I'm right back in play.
Now make sure when you use this technique that you don't read a body kick and a head kick comes because your head is still over that line.
What I do like to do, because you never quite know, especially with good kickers to the last second, but if I'm out at green and I want to avoid that kick, I put my hands out,
Yes.
Making sure that I'm blocking any pathway that kick could have coming to my head. So instead of being here and then getting blasted in the head with something, I get my arms out and I tuck myself. My shoulders are rolling up into my ears. I'm tucking my chin down, and I'm right back in play.
You'll be surprised, like how much just that framing or cross framing, how much that saves you from receiving contact that is really sufficient to do a lot of damage.
George Foreman style.
George Foreman style. Let's
Okay.
talk about legs.
Let's talk about the legs then. Okay, most of the time, right, people are going to be going after that lead leg, especially, again, when you're out at green. It's going to be very hard to get to that back leg. If I'm thinking low kick, I'm thinking I'm going to step in, get to that green-yellow range, and I'm going to, boom, I'm going to smash down on that lead leg. Okay, that's the one I can reach. However, he's controlling proper distance, and again, doing the same technique we did before, he can avoid that low kick. Okay. As you notice, when people are throwing those roundhouse kicks and they miss, they're gonna have their back exposed.
Yeah.
Whether they turn all the way around or whether they
Yeah.
plant and try to return, they are vulnerable for a second. So if you get really good, practice this technique. Just going to your back foot line, clearing, and then you're right back in, you can take advantage of that counter.
Yeah, they actually teach, like, especially when I was learning the art of kickboxing and Muay Thai, to go all the way through. If I kick, boom, and I miss, keep going all the way through because it's quicker to go all the way around than it is to stop and try to return.
Yeah.
So, food for thought.
One more that we're going to go over is a step back. However, it's not just a lazy step back. You're going to fully switch your stance to clear your leg out of the way. Especially if you feel comfortable out of an opposite stance. This could be a good opportunity for this could be a good opportunity for you to make them miss and then make them pay.
You see how fast he was on me too? That was quick.
Say you don't even feel comfortable out of an opposite stance, chances are you can kick decently with both legs, especially whatever leg is in the back. So if you're not quite good throwing your hands out of an opposite stance, just return that same leg that you got out of the way. So your front leg is becoming your back leg, and then it's becoming your kicking leg. Closed stance is probably the most common situation that you're going to be in where you have the same stance as your opponent. Notice we both have our right legs in the back, we're staying in an orthodox stance. If you use this technique, I'll show it slow, you clear, and then you return with that kick, they are turning right into. So I would very much recommend a head kick on this one.
Yeah.
Let's show that one more time.
If you go high, you win.
Closed stance, I make a miss, boom, he turns right into it.
Right into that kick. So,
Okay,
with that
that's
being
all the
said,
techniques
yeah.
for avoiding kicks. We'll see you next week. Zoom classes.
Yes.
Zoom classes are starting next week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:30.
4:30.
If you want to join us to talk about striking, we'll be going over any of the videos that we've been putting out there already. We'll also continue to put out videos, so keep watching the YouTube page, subscribe, like. And then if you want to do some grappling classes, that'll be on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6:45. 6:30. 6:30.
That being said, thank you for another week. We love having you guys, and we are out.